when it comes to the Bible, it's true. We don't have originals because of the material that these originals were written on. We don't have originals. But let's limit ourselves tonight just to the New Testament, shall we? Just when we're talking about the New Testament, we don't have any originals. But we do have documents that date back as early as AD 120, AD 100 to AD 120. That's within a couple of decades of the completion of the New Testament. We can go back and put our hands on documents that were dated within a couple of decades of the completion of the New Testament. How many manuscripts do we have? The New Testament, we have over 6,000 manuscripts or portions of manuscripts in the New Testament. Over 6,000. Over 6,000 manuscripts or portions of manuscripts. And we can go back to within a couple of decades of the last writings. If that doesn't sound impressive to you, it's because you don't deal with ancient writings. For example, if we're talking about Aristotle's Poetics, we have less than a dozen manuscripts of Aristotle's Poetics, and the earliest one that we can go back to is over 1,000 years after the writing. Julius Caesar's Gallic Wars, again, less than a dozen, and it's over 1,000 years between the last writing and the first manuscript we can put our hands on. The best example that we have in terms of number of documents is Homer's Iliad. Homer's Iliad, we have a few hundred manuscripts, but the earliest one we can put our hands on was written 2,100 years after the original. And people have the audacity to question the New Testament. That's ridiculous. If it was a fight, they'd stop it. They wouldn't even let it start. If the Bible is not considered reliable or trustworthy in an institution like this, then there is no ancient document that should ever be considered trustworthy at an institution like this, because none comes close to the Bible. Yeah, well, but then we know that there's the whole overzealous monk theory, right? And that it's these monks and it's this Constantine guy. Again, that's more Dan Brown than it is, okay? That's Da Vinci Code, that's the movies. That's not actual history. But even if we were to go there, okay, there's a few problems. Number one, there's a manuscript problem, and there's 6,000 Greek manuscripts or portions of manuscripts. So if we have these, monks during the time of Constantine who are going to go back and who are going to change the New Testament, they would have to find 6,000 Greek manuscripts and portions of manuscripts, change them all the exact same way. Don't show your ink work, don't get caught, never tell anybody what you did. There's a second layer of problem. Jesus said, go and make disciples of pantata ethne, every people group, every ethnic group, right? Problem with people groups is they speak different languages. So within the first couple of centuries, the New Testament is translated into Syriac, Coptic, and Latin. So now your overzealous monks during the time of Constantine have to go find 6,000 manuscripts, change them all the exact same way, don't show your ink work, don't get caught, don't tell anybody what you did. Then learn how to lie in Syriac, Coptic, and Latin, as well as you lie in Greek, because if you don't, there's going to be a problem, because now the Greek manuscripts won't match the translations into these other languages. So you got to change those, right? And then again, don't show your ink work, don't get caught, don't tell anybody. There's a third layer of problem. The early church fathers. The early church fathers had this horrible habit of quoting and writing commentaries on the New Testament. So much so that if all we had were the writings of the early church fathers, we would be able to reproduce the New Testament all but 11 verses. So now, our overzealous monks have to find 6,000 Greek manuscripts, lie, don't show your ink work, don't get caught, don't tell anybody what you did. Learn how to lie in Syriac, Coptic, and Latin as well as you lie in Greek. Go get all those things from around the world. Make sure your lies match, get them back. Don't tell anybody what you did. Find all of the writings of the early church fathers and make sure that their commentaries now match all the lies that you told in Syriac, Coptic, Latin, and Greek. That's fantasy. That's fantasy, okay? That's absolute fantasy. So we have a reliable collection of historical documents written by eyewitnesses during the lifetime of other eyewitnesses. All right? So far, we just got a good history book. Now it gets good.